everybody and welcome to a new lecture. In this lesson I am going to talk about another tool that will help us determine specific targets, and this one is called Fibonacci Trend-Based Extension. So what Fibonacci Trend-Based Extension has to offer is something called a measured move, and is telling how much something is going to move based on percentages. So you may have already get used with the Fibonacci retracement and some Elliott Wave fundamentals from the previous video. So let me draw for you waves 1 and 2 right here, and as you remember from the previous lesson, we take the Fibonacci retracement from the origin of wave 1 to the top, and this tool measures how much wave 2 it retraces. So if it retraces to this level, it means that it retraced 50% of the original move upwards. So let's say that this first wave has moved up $10 in price action, and after this retracement has finished and it bounced from this 50% retracement level, let's say that wave 3 will move up exactly 100% of wave 1, which will make a one-to-one extension of wave 1 after wave 2 has done retracing. So I'm going to clone this first wave by right-clicking on this line and select clone, and this is how it looks, a one-to-one extension of the original wave 1. So if wave 1 price action was $10, after the retracement of wave 2, wave 3 made a one-to-one extension, and that means wave 3 price action was $10 as well. So let me show you how Fibonacci extension works. So first of all, I'm going to delete this extension, and I will leave only waves 1 and 2 because this is all we need. To use Fibonacci trend-based extension, you have 3 points that you have to connect. And I will annotate here at these 2 waves the points of A, B, and this is C. And now select the Fibonacci extension tool from your favorite toolbar, and we want to do it like this. We start from the origin of wave 1, which will be later A, and click to set this point. We go to the next one, which is the ending of wave 1, which corresponds to letter B, and click again to set it. Then the last point that we want to connect is the ending of wave 2, which will correspond to the letter C, and click again to set your Fibonacci extension tool. So let's set together this tool to make it look better, and we do that by pressing this settings button or just double click on it. Here make sure you go to style, and I like to keep mine only with these ranges of 0.5, 0.618, 0.786, 1, 1.618, 2.618, 3.618, and 4.618. So for the labels option, I like to keep mine on the right, and I would like to disable the background because I can see it more clear this way. When you finish to set up, click OK to save the changes. Now what the Fib extension is doing is taking the length of the first impulse wave all the way down to here where it retraced, and it is creating a ratio and is telling you the distance that it could move in percentages. So if you look up here, this number is 1, right? Which means that it could move 100% or a one-to-one extension of this first wave, and I'm going to clone it just to show you and get a clear idea of how it will look. So what do you guys think that the 0.5 level means? It means that it makes a measured move of 50% of the original wave. What about 0.618? That also means that it makes a measured move for only 61.8% of the original move as well. So do you see it, how beautiful and powerful this tool can be to determine specific targets when we follow some simple rules? Let's always assume a one-to-one extension for wave 3 Maybe not every time we'll hit a one-to-one extension, but it will come very close to it. Another rule that you should follow is that wave 3 is often the longest but never the shortest. So if we have only the first wave, which is this one, we will assume that wave 3 will make at least a one-to-one measured move of wave 1. There are some rare times when it does fail and not reaching the one-to-one extension, but there are multiple times when it will reach a 1.618, which will be 161.8% extension of the original wave 1. So when you want to determine specific targets for wave 3, always target first the one-to-one extension, then the second target will be 1.618 Fib extension, because wave 3 is often the longest and never the shortest in the Elliott Wave structure. So let's see some examples of how you can use the Fibonacci trend-based extension on the price chart with real past movements. In this example, I am going to present you how to use Fibonacci extension in an uptrend and how powerful are these targets in technical analysis. For this setup, I am using Bitcoin chart and I am on 2-hour time frame. So if you look at the price chart, we see here this low point right here, and we will assume that this is the beginning of wave 1, and this first top right here is the ending of wave 1, and I'm going to draw a line to mark this first impulse wave up, and the next low that we see will be the retracement of this first wave, which will create the corrective wave 2, and I will draw a line here as well, and I will annotate these waves of being 1 and 2, like that. First of all, let's see how much wave 2 retraces from the original impulse wave 1, and we take the Fibonacci retracement tool and we take it from this low point where wave 1 begins, and we drag it to where it topped out, and what do we see is that wave 2 retraced 50%. So now that we have waves 1 and 2, we want to determine a target for wave 3, and first of all we will target one-to-one extension of this first impulse wave 1. Some people will determine this target of one-to-one extension for wave 3 by cloning the first impulse wave up, and I will do the same just to show you. Or they will draw a box for this first wave, and I will do that by using the rectangle tool. And after they draw a box, they will move it to over here where wave 2 finished to retrace, and that is how some people determine targets for wave 3. And I just wanted to show you other methods that you could use when you make your analysis. Now I will delete these drawings because we want to learn how to use the Fibonacci extension, and I will leave only the drawings for waves 1 and 2 because that is all we need. So we take the Fibonacci extension tool from over here and we select the origin point where wave 1 started, take it to the highest point right here, and we drag it to the point where wave 2 finished to retrace. How amazing is this Fibonacci extension tool? Isn't that beautiful? It reached our target perfectly, poking it with some small wicks, and then it retraces, making the fourth corrective wave. So this tool allows us to get a range of where we can take profit, and the Elliott Wave and these two Fibonacci tools, retracement and extension, are a very powerful combination to use. So let's say you missed this entry point right here where wave 1 starts, or somewhere in this area, and you know that this first wave it will retrace. So you take your Fibonacci retracement tool and you set it for this first wave to get an idea of where wave 2 it could retrace, and enter a buy position here at the 0.5 Fib level, and write it and set your target of a one-to-one extension of this first wave, and the Fibonacci extension tool will help you get a range of where you could take profit. So I will take my rectangle here and I draw a box, and this box represents my range where I am going to put my sell orders to take profit of this move. So let's see how much profit you would have made if you have played it like this. And I am going to select my long position tool and set my entry point right here at the 0.5 fib level. And in this trade you would have made 20% gain following some very simple rules about Elliott waves. But I promise that I am going to enter in so much detail about Elliott waves in another lecture later on. Now, another very important rule that I want to present to you is this one. If wave 3 reaches a 1-to-1 extension of waves 1 and 2, then wave 5 could possibly hit a 1 to 1.618 fib extension of the waves 1 and 2. So guess what? It reached exactly 1.618 fib extension for wave 5, and this is where you want to place your sell orders, because this is the final wave going up in the Elliott wave structure, and then a bigger correction will happen. In this setup, I am going to present you how to determine targets in a downtrend using the Fibonacci Extension tool. For this example, I am using the Ethereum chart and I am on 4-hour time frame. So basically, it is the same thing like in an uptrend. If we look at the price chart, we see here this top, and then we will wait for waves 1 and 2 to form to use the Fibonacci extension to determine targets of where you should place your buy orders. So we see here this wave 1 and this is wave 2. And I'm going to draw some lines here to better see the waves. And I'm going to annotate here that this is wave 1 and this is wave 2, like this. What you want to do next is to take your Fibonacci extension from your favorite toolbar, and now we started from the top for the first point that we want to connect. We drag it down to over here where wave 1 finishes and click again to set this point. Then we drag it up here where wave 2 ends retracing. Now this tool gave us the ranges where wave 3 and 5 could finish, and if you remember our rule where if wave 3 makes a 1-to-1 extension of waves 1 and 2, then wave 5 will possibly hit 1.618 fib extension level. So in this case we see that wave 3 reached the 1.618 fib extension. And in this case, I will present you another rule for wave 5 target, and it goes like this. If wave 3 reaches a 1.618 fib extension, then wave 5 could possibly hit 2.618 fib extension, which in this case, this is what has happened. So now that we have the targets for waves 3 and 5, I will take my rectangle tool from over here to highlight the areas where is the best to place your buy orders. So when you know the specific targets where it could possibly reach, you want to ladder your buys to get a better average price, and you do that like this. At these ranges where I draw these boxes, you want to place your buy orders like this. You start with a smaller amount here, and as you go down in price, you will increase your position size to get a much better price average. And for wave 5, usually it is better for you to undershoot than to overshoot, and here you will place your buy orders undershooting the 2.618 fib extension like this, and we will place another order overshooting the 2.618 fib extension if it gets there. So this is how we use the Fibonacci extension to determine targets and how professional traders ladder their buys or sell orders to get a much better average price. So thank you for watching this lecture, and I will see you in the next one.